what if everything you're doing is useless? And what if all that effort, all that anxiety, all that exhaustion only serves to fill the time before you die? Maybe you never dared to say it out loud, but you've thought it. In the middle of an absurd workday, in the middle of a traffic jam, in the middle of a cry you don't even know where it comes from. You asked me, why so much effort if I'm going to die anyway? And you didn't say it because it sounds bad, because people look at you strangely, because in this sick world, being fed up is forbidden. But there are days when the soul weighs more than the body, days when life doesn't feel like an opportunity, but like a sentence. And even if you don't say it, you feel it. You feel it strongly. You get up out of obligation, not desire. You work out of need, not passion. You smile out of habit, not joy. And deep down, there's a voice that whispers to you, quietly but constantly, all this, what for? We were raised with an invisible manual. Study, work, progress, buy things, find a partner, pay taxes, avoid chaos, maintain order. And maybe if you do everything right, you'll be happy. But no one tells you that this manual was written by people just as lost as you. No one warns you that you can follow all the steps and still feel a void that eats you from the inside. Because the big secret, the one no one dares to face, is that there is no guaranteed meaning. You do what you do because they told you it had to be done. But did you choose it? Do you want this? Or are you simply surviving not to disappoint an expectation you don't even know whose it is? Life is hard, not in the epic sense of movies where everything has redemption. It's hard in the dirty, monotonous, unpredictable sense. It's hard because it doesn't warn you. Because when you think you're starting to understand, it changes the rules. It gives you an illness. It takes someone from you. It breaks something you didn't know could break. And you keep going. Because that's what we do. Keep going. Even if we're broken. Even if we don't see the point. Even if we're dead inside. We go on because instinct is stronger than understanding. Because letting go is scary. Because we don't know how to stop. And so you live a life you don't understand. Working in things you don't love. Surrounded by people you don't really know. Wearing masks that have already stuck to your skin. And all that, for what? For a paycheck? For retirement? To have a tombstone that says, here rests someone who did everything they were supposed to do. Is that all? Is that the end of this grand spectacle? And even so, you get up, you brush your teeth, you get dressed, you get going. Why? Maybe because you don't know what else to do. Maybe because standing still scares you. Maybe because, even though you're drowning, there's a part of you that still believes something could change, that something could happen, that something, anything, could give meaning to all this. And that maybe, that tiny maybe, is the only thing keeping you on your feet. The problem is, no one teaches you what to do when that maybe disappears, when you no longer believe, when everything turns into white noise and there's no escape, when even the things you love start to feel like a burden. That's when chaos appears. Not the outer chaos, the inner chaos, the one you can't control with planners or habits or motivational quotes. The one that tells you, let's be honest, everything you're doing is useless because you're going to die anyway. And it doesn't say it to scare you. It says it as a raw truth, like a bucket of ice water on your back. And you, with your wet body and tired soul, don't know what to answer. Why? How do you answer that? What argument is there against death? What logic can save you from the fact that one day, without warning, everything you are will disappear? Your body, your memories, your ideas, your photos, your achievements, your failures, everything will go. Even the memory of you, even your name, you'll fade into oblivion like millions before you. And yet you're here, thinking, fighting, hoping for something, even if you don't know what. Maybe the real question isn't why so much effort, but why not give up already? And if that question scares you, it's because there's a part of you that still wants to live, even if it doesn't understand why. That's the spark, the fragment that remains when everything else breaks, the most honest part of your soul. It doesn't want rewards, it doesn't seek guarantees, it just wants to keep going, even one more step, just to see what's after this abyss. And so you continue, Not because you want to, but because you don't know how not to. And in that automatic continuation, you become part of the scenery. Just another one in line, another one in traffic, another one in the office, another one answering fine while falling apart inside. Because being honest is a luxury this world doesn't allow. You can't say what you really think. You can't show that you're empty, that you're fed up, that you're doubting everything. You have to act. You have to function. You have to keep producing, performing, delivering, like a machine that already forgot why it was created but still keeps running. And when you finally have a moment of calm, when the world goes quiet for a second, you realize something else. You no longer know who you are. You don't know if what you actually like, or if you learn to like it to fit in. You don't know if your dreams were yours or if they were imposed on you. You don't know if the love you have is real or just fear of being alone. You don't know if you're living or just avoiding thinking about death. And that's where silence becomes unbearable. Because in noise you can hide, but in silence you have to face yourself. And what you see, you don't like. You see someone exhausted, broken, full of unmet expectations, unhealed wounds, promises that never arrived. You see someone who once believed in things, in love, in friendship, in justice, in God, in the future, but who let all that go little by little, like someone dropping things to be able to run faster. Only at the end, there's nothing left, just you and the unbearable weight of yourself. And when that happens, when meaning leaves and noise no longer covers, it appears, the void. That void is not sadness. Sadness has shape, causes, names. The void doesn't. The void is silence. It's nothing. It's a white wall with no doors. And the worst part about the void isn't that it hurts. It's that nothing hurts anymore. That you can look at your life and feel like you don't care. That you can look at someone you love and feel distant. That you can look at the sky, the city, the night, everything, and nothing touches you, as if you were a ghost in your own body. And in that moment, you understand what absurd really means. It's not a fancy word philosophers use. It's a concrete feeling. It's living with the knowledge that everything is going to die, but still living anyway. It's knowing there's no ultimate meaning, but still getting up and washing your face. It's understanding there's no reward, but still betting on something. And you ask yourself, why? Why do I keep going if I know there's no happy ending? Because even though everything's doomed, there's something in you that refuses to disappear. Something that doesn't give up so easily. It's not hope. It's not optimism. It's something more primitive, more visceral. It's the impulse to be alive. It's the flame that stays lit even in the middle of the storm. And that flame, even if tiny, is what connects you to life, to possibility, to the unknown, to that moment you didn't see coming, but suddenly changed everything. Because yes, life, with all its cruelty, with all its brutality, sometimes has the audacity to surprise you, to give you an instant that justifies everything, a real laugh, a gaze that pierces through you, a song that breaks your soul, a night you never want to end, and you know it's fragile, you know it will end, you know it will break, but even so, you hold on, because in that instant, you finally feel alive. And then you understand, you're not alive for an eternal purpose. You're alive for the sparks, for the moments that set fire to the gray, for the small rebellions you make against the void, for every time you broke down and didn't die, for every time you said, I can't take it anymore, and kept going anyway. There lies the real act of resistance, not defeating death, but looking it in the eye and saying, yes, I know you're coming, but not today. And maybe that is what living means, knowing everything will die and choosing to live anyway. Not because it makes sense, not because it's worth it, but because you're here, because you're still breathing, because there's still something, whatever it is, that won't let you give up. And that even if you don't realize it, is already a form of victory. Sometimes it's not sadness you feel, it's rage. A silent rage that doesn't scream but burns you from the inside. A rage for being thrown into this world without asking for it. without instructions, without a net, a rage against time that chases you without pause, against routine that turns you into someone you don't recognize, against promises never fulfilled, against the injustice of living in a world where, yes, there's beauty, but also hunger, absurd death, crying children in the dust, forgotten elders in wheelchairs, violence on the corner, betrayal in the bed, abandonment in the voice that no longer replies. And even so, we keep going. They demand it of you. They repeat it. Be strong. Don't cry. Everything happens for a reason. Keep going. But no one tells you what to do with the anger. And you swallow it like everything else. Because you learn that feeling too much is dangerous. That showing vulnerability is exposing yourself. That crying means weakness. You work. You greet. You play the game. But inside there's a scream that never stops. A scream that says, this isn't fair. It's not fair. The pain you've been dealt. It's not fair what you lost. It's not fair. The abandonment you suffered. It's not fair. The fear you grew up with. It's not fair to live carrying wounds no one sees but still bleed the same. It's not fair to have to build meaning from scratch every single day with no certainty that you're doing it right. It's not fair to feel alone even when surrounded by people. It's not fair to have to hold yourself up when you can't take it anymore. And yet, you do it, day after day, even if no one notices, even if no one thanks you, even if it seems useless. And maybe that is your true power, because there's a secret strength in those who suffer and don't give up. There's hidden nobility in those who, even knowing everything will break, still try to love, still seek a hug, still cook for someone, still go out for a walk with no destination. There's a kind of mysticism in those who live without certainties, without religion, without dogma, and still cling to life with their nails as if saying, I don't understand anything, but I'm not going without a fight. And there it is, the deepest, the truest, the most uncomfortable. Living isn't about finding meaning, but about creating it where there was none. You do it every time you get up when you'd rather stay in bed. You do it every time you say, I'm fine, when you're falling apart inside. You do it every time you act strong so others don't collapse. Every time you silence your pain so you don't burden others. Every time you say we're going to be okay, even if you don't believe it yourself. And that, even if no one tells you, is heroic. But how much longer can you hold on like that? How many more days can you pretend everything is fine without breaking? How many more times can you put on the mask without completely forgetting your real face? Because there comes a point where you get tired, a point where you need someone, anyone, to look you in the eye and say, I understand. I know you're fed up. I know you're broken, but I'm here. And if no one does, it's up to you to say it to yourself. You have to be that voice, that hand, that refuge. Because if you wait for the world to save you, you'll die waiting. The world isn't coming to rescue you. It doesn't have time. It's busy being cruel. It's busy with its own noise. It's you against the chaos. And in that battle, there's something that will always hurt. Knowing life owes you nothing. But you still want something from it. You want a bit of peace. You want a bit of truth. You want all of this madness of existing, to be worth it. For it not to be just enduring until the end. For it not to be just waiting for death in an elegant way. And that hope, even if it seems stupid, is sacred. Because it speaks of you. That there's still something inside. Something that doesn't give up. Something that wants more. Not more things. Not more success. Not more likes. More life. More meaning. More fire. More connection. More intensity. Something that pierces through you. Something that awakens you. Something that makes you say, now this was it. And you don't know when it'll come. And it may never come. But you still look for it. You still risk it. You still try. Because you're human. Because you're made of scars and will. Because you're broken, yes. But you still shine. And so we arrive here. After everything. After the noise. After the rage. After the void. After the exhaustion. Here you are. still alive, breathing, thinking, asking yourself if all this effort will be worth it, if there's any reward at the end of the race, if maybe it would be easier to just let go, surrender, shut everything off, and sleep forever. And I won't lie to you. There are no certainties. There are no promises. There's no manual. There's only one brutal truth. You are going to die. Me, you, everyone. And when that comes, nothing material will matter. Not your paycheck, not your image, not your stats, not your degrees. Only what you did with the time you had, the little flames you lit in the dark, what you loved, what you said when you were afraid, what you cared for when no one was looking. That's it. And even so, knowing this, you choose to live. That's the part no one can fully explain. That the world is full of pain, chaos, death, but also moments that give your soul back. A conversation at 3 a.m, a song that pierces through you, a hand that holds you, any ordinary day when, for some reason, you feel at peace. And then you understand, it's not about defeating death. It's about mocking it every single day, dancing in the middle of disaster, laughing with a broken heart, loving knowing everything ends, because that is truly living. And if you're going to be here, if you were already thrown into this absurd game called existence, play it with everything. Scream, love, create, open your chest, and if you have to fall, let it be with dignity. Let it never be said that you passed through this world without burning. And if this message made you feel something, if you saw yourself in even one line, subscribe to the channel. You're going to find more chaos, more questions, more truth. Because sometimes we don't need answers, just someone to tell us, I feel this too. And if you want to keep exploring, the next video is already waiting for you on screen. I'll see you there. Chaos Counselor, see you in the next video.
Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, leave a like and a subscription. If you could keep listening to the video until now, congratulations. You are a warrior who have the capacity of bringing attention for a long time. Leave a comment saying this, I'm brave. Then you will let people know that you have the brave to improve your life quality, and you'll try to be better each day. Now bye until the next video. A big hug from the being of knowledge.